Welcome viewers, let's see what's going on in the world of lost AWOL women.
I had an affair and I want to talk about it. Now, before I dive in, I first want to say that this happened many years ago. This happened when I was 21 years old, and I'm now almost 29.
Okay, just let me say, these women, these older women that have an affair or for whatever reason, age really isn't part of it, because you know when you're young that you shouldn't be jumping the fence and this, that and the other while you're with someone. So she's on right from the outset, she's trying to water down what she's done by way of immaturity. But remember, you're an adult at the age of 18. That's correct, isn't it? 18. Well, 21's just not going to cut it for excuses.
But for almost a decade, I kind of hated myself for it. It was something that I truly thought I would never, ever tell another soul. But as I was laying in meditation this week, I'm out in the Smoky Mountains doing a month of just deep inner work. I was laying in meditation earlier this week, and I had asked myself for whatever lesson or message I needed to receive that day, and this came up out of nowhere. Now, I had my affair many years ago, and it's something that I buried very deep within my psyche. I did not want to examine it, so I didn't examine it very often. It was under lock and key. And I truly never thought I would tell another soul until the day that I died, because I didn't feel like there was a reason to, and it was something that brought me so much shame. But as I was laying in meditation, this just came up out of nowhere, and it felt like I just needed to vomit it out. Like I had to tell another soul. So I did. I reached out to my very best friend, and I sent her a voice note, and I told her I had an affair. And then I started talking about it with other friends, and I realized through all of those conversations that every single person in my life knows somebody involved in an affair.
And in this case, that person happens to be this woman.
I'm in no way condoning cheating by any means. Absolutely not.
On the other hand, she's not condemning it either, is she?
My present day self would never participate in the behavior that my 21-year-old self did.
Probably because of the consequences of her actions. I'd say it's really brought a lot of turmoil to her conscience and to her reputation relative to the people that were involved with her at that time, particularly possibly her husband. But this is one of these post-destructive narratives that's going to not condemn having an affair, but also not elicit it either. It's just that sitting on the fence, seesaw to and fro, self-justification kind of talk, and I've got no sympathy for these women.
But what I'm learning is life is just not black and white, and there are lessons from all of this. And I know how ashamed this made me feel for a very long time, so I know there are others dealing with the same exact thing, which is why I'm here bearing my business to the internet. So what happened? I'm going to do the short version, so this is not 30 minutes long, but if you want to hear the full in-depth thought process on this, it is on my Patreon. The link is in my bio. But here's the quick overview. I was 21 years old, and
before she starts, viewers, is 21 years old enough for you to know whether having an affair is right or wrong? Can I just ask the editor, do you think 2021 is old enough for you to know whether having an affair is right or wrong? Of course it is. So it's malarkey.
I was in a very unhealthy relationship.
Okay, so now she's saying she was in a very unhealthy relationship. Whose fault's that? Hers. She chose the guy. She's still with. See, too many people let their loyalty and faithfulness blind them from some of these abusive people that they're with. Now, she can skirt around the edges. She can paint the picture with lots of colours. She can use lots of words. She can Botox her lips more. She can put on more makeup and get her eyebrows done, but it's still not going to change the fact that she cheated. Now, in the italics, It says she was in a relationship with somebody who cheated on her constantly. Well, whose fault's that? How long are you going to stay? If somebody cheats on you, you leave the relationship immediately. That's it. It's over.
Cheated on me constantly, who put me down verbally, who did not uplift me in any way.
So, viewers, whose fault's that? Whose fault's that?
I was very vulnerable. I had already a lot of skewed notions in my brain about how I viewed myself or valued myself in relation to men. That's a topic for another day, but long story short, I wasn't operating from a place of high self-esteem by any means.
No. Guys, let's not confuse self-esteem with decision-making. Okay? This is where we go wrong. I'm going to say it again. Too many people let their faithfulness, loyalty, devotion, commitment, and all those things blind them from the chaos and the immaturities and the dysfunctions of the people that they're with. Now, if you stay in that situation, that's on you. You can make all the psychological excuses and, oh, poor pity me, that person was bad, he was even a narcissist or something. Like, you can even label this person. That's uncommon, isn't it, for one of these bad people to be labelled a narcissist of all things. Not many people know what that is. But usually these people just get with some sinful person that doesn't want to grow, doesn't want to develop. They've gone for somebody way outside their pay grade, and they're just going to hang in there for the sake of the fact that they don't want to lose. They don't want to give up, even though all the signs are you're being bombed, you're in the middle of a war and you're losing. You're being chopped up. It's time to put up the white flag and surrender, but they don't. So they come up with these narratives.
I was working in banking at the time, and I got moved into a new position, which was a great career opportunity for me. But I got moved into a position that was in a department where I didn't have anybody my age. The person closest in age to me was 14 and a half years older than me. It was a man.
Oh, it was a man. That's no good. You can't speak to a man 14 and a half years older than her for any wisdom or guidance. The thing is, what's happening in a person's personal life really isn't relevant at work. I always say to my workers, can you leave your home life at home and concentrate on what you're supposed to be doing at work? If you need counselling or anything, go pay for one outside of work. So I'm not sure what she's getting. This is an indirect attack on men, by the way.
He was engaged. For the first year or so that we worked together, we just became friends, like really good friends. And I look back on that now and I obviously see some red flags, but at the time I trusted him. He shared a lot of vulnerable information with me and I did the same in return.
Okay, so this is a relationship that's building through closeness at work. And this happens every day, and it's just human nature to fall into that. We tend to be attracted to people that we spend a lot of time with, particularly outside the domestic environment, because then if we've got any resentments, or apparently she had a lot, we can gravitate towards this other person in our immaturities and own dysfunctions and try and find some kind of recluse, some kind of comfort in the unresolved.
Because of us sharing this vulnerable information with each other, I felt a false sense of closeness with this man, and I really trusted him.
Oh no, it wasn't a false sense of closeness. It was a real sense of closeness. Her resentment and bitterness towards whatever was, whatever wasn't going right in her life was now being band-aided by this man at work.
Trusted him. I viewed him as my friend. So we were friends for a very long time before things progressed in any way, shape, or form. And I still remember the first time, he was somebody that I worked beneath too, I'll say that. I still remember the first time that he texted me after hours, and I knew it was wrong and I didn't do anything about it. I think at the time I was actually kind of exhilarated by it. This was someone who was extremely successful, almost 15 years older than me, who I worked beneath, and my life was a train wreck. In all honesty, I was kind of flattered. And I went down that path.
Viewers, that's called hypergamy. This woman's seen an opportunity. She's seen an opportunity that was going to work out in her favour, and she's given into it.
We just became more flirtatious with each other, and then one day we were in the office in the morning together, no one else was there yet, and he just kissed me out of the blue. I was still in a committed relationship, no matter how unhealthy it was.
And here we go, guys, because she's just thrown herself under the bus. She was in a committed relationship. She's been doing the flirt at work, which never works out. They just get pumped and dumped and their paycheck at the end of the week. And in most cases, a letter of resignation or a letter of, we don't need you anymore. And now she can paint the picture around everybody else, but the focus needs to be on herself. She was unable to resolve the issues in the relationship that she had. She possibly should have left that relationship, but she didn't. Whose fault's that? It's hers. She's gone to work and she's taken her resentments and bitternesses that she's had towards the bloke that she's in the relationship with, and escaped them and paid the bloke she's in the relationship back by flirting with the bloke at work, and now this bloke's got his hand down her pants.
Still in a committed relationship, and this man that kissed me was engaged.
Okay, so she's saying she's in a committed relationship. Well, at this point, as soon as she started the crossing of borders, crossing of boundaries at work with this other bloke, she's not in a committed relationship because she's no longer committed. She's the 304. She's put herself in a position where that's not commitment. If you're in a committed relationship and you're flirting with the men at work, is that commitment? No, that's not commitment. I'm just checking with the editor. That's not commitment. That's luridness. That's not right.
The very next day I was leaving on a vacation with my boyfriend, and
okay, so she's just got the guy she's working with, hand down her pants, and now she's leaving on a vacation with her boyfriend. Well, that's the cake and eat it too, isn't it?
And I broke up with him that first day of vacation, the first day of a 10-day vacation, because the guilt just was consuming me. And I thought,
okay, so she's gone and spoiled the 10-day vacation. She's gone on the vacation and broke up with him. Now, wouldn't it have been more unselfish to have said, I've just been tampered with at work by a bloke I've chatted up. It might be better if you go on the vacation on your own. Why would you go on the vacation and say, look, I've just been porked up the bum, or whatever happened? She didn't go into detail, but I can imagine what would have happened in the franticness of it all. She's gone on the vacation, still with the other blokes, you know what, on her, and broke up with the boyfriend who's probably did nothing wrong. This is a very destructive woman, believe you me. This is not the sort of woman you want to get mixed up with.
I'm either going to have to tell him the truth, or I'm going to have to break up with him. And I broke up with him because I kind of wanted...
she couldn't tell the truth. Right? She just said it herself. I could either tell him the truth, or I could break up with him. Or she could have gone one step further and told him the truth and not gone on the vacation, and let him have gone on the vacation on his own and enjoyed himself, because she spoiled it. She spoiled the whole thing. This is what these people do. They bring down houses, they ruin children, they destroy men, they destroy themselves. They got all these excuses. She's got, to me, doesn't look like she's got any remorse at all.
No, anyway. Now here's the worst part. I guess it's all bad, but I stayed in a relationship with the man who was engaged until he left his fiancée.
Okay, so she's caused a breakup. The guy that was pumping and dumping her at work, she allowed that to continue. She's just ruined the relationship shit that she's in. This is what they do. They ruin everything. Now she's ruined the relationship for the woman with the man who she's now having a deviant relationship with at work. That's gone out the window. No remorse. These people are everywhere. These women are everywhere, right? You've got to understand this. This is just a prettied up, dolled up version of what happens every day with these sinful, wicked people.
And it was horrible. It was this constant anxiety, this constant feeling of just absolute self-hatred. Eventually he did.
Women love the toxicity. They love the excitement. They love the fact that they've taken a man off another woman. They love all that at the start. They love all the toxicity and look what I've done and look at me. It's all about look at me. And then all of a sudden the penny drops, the conscience kicks in, and everything starts to collapse around them.
Did end up leaving his fiance. We ended up getting together. We dated for 4.5 years until I found out he cheated on me with somebody else.
Okay, so she's just got on into a situation and ended up exactly where she ought to have had, and that's been kicked to the curb. He's just pumped and dumped her at his convenience and then gone, right, I'm sick of you, and kicked her to the curb, knowing that she was destructive anyway. She never entered the relationship in a civil, proper manner, and she left the relationship the same way she came in, only this time she was the casualty. And she doesn't look too upset about it there, does she?
Who was 21. He was now in his 40s. But I'm not here to make any of these men out to be bad men. I'm here to talk.
Well, you're not making them look. That's what you're making yourself look like. Terrible.
About my actions and take responsibility for my actions and talk about how they made me feel. I look back on that scenario now and I realize that I don't think I viewed myself as worthy of more. I was so willing to accept so little from a man that I was willing to be the other woman for a time period.
So hang on a minute. No. See, this isn't even making sense. She was in a relationship. The guy was taking her on a holiday, right? Which is pretty big. They're off on a holiday. She ruins that holiday. She's in an affair with a bloke at work. She didn't have the courage to tell the bloke that she was with that she was doing that. She ruins his engagement with the other woman, right? She ruins his engagement with the other woman. She's saying that she's the victim because she is the other woman outside of the engagement. The guy leaves his engagement for the benefit of her, and she's the victim. Guys, honestly, you can't make this stuff up. I'm going to have to get off. It's gone on too long. But can you see how deluded and twisted and how bad this is? She goes, and I had it in my brain that I was so special. Yeah, you thought you were special. Oh yeah, you thought you were special. Don't worry. At that moment, at that time, with all this going on, she thought she was special. Let's not kid ourselves. The only person she's kidding here is herself. So watch out, guys. Be careful. Do the right thing. Don't get hurt. And I'll catch you on the next one.